So often when we're talking to people and we tell them that we have a pilgrimage business, they have a lot of thoughts about what our pilgrimage business is. However, it's usually not accurate. And so we want to talk about this today. We are not your average pilgrimage business. If you're new here, we are Ben and Rita Johnson. We are the owners of On Pilgrimage, which is a DIY Catholic pilgrimage business. And I'm so excited to talk about what that means today.
So I'll talk a little bit about what are some of the stereotypes around pilgrimage that people are going to initially associate it when they hear, oh, you have a pilgrimage business. That usually means that we arrange the pilgrimage itineraries that are strictly adhered to, including meal times and where you eat and what you see and where you stay, and then often very good experiences as far as like being great guides. We've been on a few pilgrimages like that, and it's been great. But it is very, very hard to do with a big family. It's hard to do with a family at all because your family, things happen and you just gotta change your plans, right? But also other people just don't like the rigidity of that kind of thing. So we'll be pilgrimaging with you in spirit and with the guide, but we won't be actually physically with you on these pilgrimages. So we're here to provide a roadmap and a plan for a pilgrimage to a city, and each of these pilgrimage guides is going to give you a framework to build your pilgrimage off of, including sample itineraries, but it allows you the flexibility to give and take on what you doing, some of the things that are suggested.
Yeah, so some of those things for us are, our personality. Sometimes we don't want to be going from dawn to dusk, right? Sometimes you get there and you have a day and you're like, gosh, I wish I could just sit in this piazza and do nothing. It gives you the flexibility to be able to travel in terms of how you feel on that day. But also, when we are traveling with our kids somewhere, whether that is a long haul overnight flight the night before, or whether that's, we just drove for 10 hours and want to just sit by the pool for a little bit, it allows for us to do what the kids need in those moments as well. And I will say that that's just as important for the 15-year-old as it is for the 2-year-old, because sometimes if the 15-year-old doesn't get what they need in that moment, they can make the day a lot worse than the 2-year-old. That being said, tired 2-year-olds can be pretty rough.
Yeah, that's right.
And so from our own personal experience of having traveled with our kids and yearning to make it more breaking down barriers for other people to be able to travel with their kids and experience some of these things that we have experienced, that is why we do what we do, and building out these guides is our first initial step in that process. So like Ben talked about, your day is not packed from dawn until dusk, but it can be. If you're somebody that likes to travel in that way, if you want to go see this, and then you stop for a break for lunch and 30 minutes later you're off and running again, you can do that. And our guides are just used as a support to make that planning process easier and help you not miss some of those really huge, beautiful, amazing things that are in the different cities where we have a guide. And there's itineraries in the guide.
Yeah, so the itineraries will be structured in a way that it can give you some sample ways of approaching your pilgrimage, with prioritizing maybe some of the what we have identified as the more important or more unique or aspects of that city. I think a good example of this would be like St. Louis. Like, you have to go to the new cathedral. Like, it's like you can't create an itinerary without that. Or if you're in Cincinnati, you'd have to go to Old St. Mary's as well.
You would have to.
But what I'm saying is the itinerary will have those like must sees, but then allow for some some flexibility of like, if you had to choose between these two, then pick this one. But if you have time for both, do both. And so trying to build it out in a way that's both reasonable from a time perspective, but also optimized from a way that you're not going to be going from this part of the city over to this part of the city, and then this to this. Like, instead, it's kind of a seamless route.
Yes, for sure. And also, in addition to that, if there is something that is going to take a bit of energy and time, so something like in St. Louis, they have the zoo. And so if that is on the itinerary for 4 or 5 hours, you're not going to want to go jump to 5 churches that evening after doing that. And so keeping that into account as well. So another thing that is different about our pilgrimage company than other pilgrimage companies is that we are really striving to not break the bank, to make it very affordable for you to be able to be supported in your travels. And that's why the US guides will always be priced very low, so that you don't even have to think twice about, can I afford this in addition to my trip? And even our consulting services, we try to price very much in a way that makes it easier for you to be able to afford it.
Yeah, so a few things on that too is we'll be including tips, like as you follow more of our content, you'll see this even outside of the guides, is how do you how do you deal with lodging? What are some reasonable places to stay in the city? What are maybe some travel tip advantages of using certain programs or loyalty programs with hotels. Also doing things like helping you through planning for doing meals in a hotel, especially with us. We've got 6 children. It's not feasible for us to take nor would it be enjoyable to take all of our kids out to a restaurant after a full day of exploring a city on pilgrimage. So how do you do that? How do you do that where it's affordable and it tastes delicious and it's healthy and it allows you to decompress in the evening and not be like another stressor? So whether it's cooking in the hotel room or maybe even some like ways to do meals that are like more just easier to pick up and kind of eat or prep beforehand. Mm-hmm. So a lot of different ways that we're gonna support you in that, but that is a big emphasis on our work, is that we want this to be for everyone. And I think a big part of that is to acknowledge the expense and really help people through planning and overcoming some of those financial challenges.
Yes, for sure. And I would say the last reason that we're not like other pilgrimage companies is that we're not traveling with you. This is DIY, do it yourself. And we want to give you lots of tips and tricks that will help support you and help you to break through barriers of traveling with your spouse or with your kids or by yourself, but also making that something that is able to be more tailored towards you and the way you like to travel and the way you want to experience a city. And so that's always our goal as well, is helping you to experience that, so that when you come home from your trip, you don't feel equally exhausted or even more so, and you need a vacation from your vacation. I get that feeling. We have totally been there, but I don't think it should be that way. I think that we should be able to travel in such a way that we're not coming home feeling like garbage because we ate out too much or ate things that we don't typically eat or don't sit well with our bodies, that we were able to sleep and pray as we went and have more opportunities for sacraments when we're traveling than when we're home. These are things that we automatically start to shift and think about as we're planning a trip, and things we hope to help make easier for others to do as well. So we're not your average pilgrimage business, and we hope that you will help us spread the word about On Pilgrimage and the ways that can help support you and your future travels.